Alright, good morning everybody. My name is Callie, and if you haven't seen already, today we are going to be making corner bookmarks. So these are super easy, they're super fun, and you only need 4 things to do them. So to do this project, you're going to need paper. Any color paper works. I'm going to be using white as we are going to be drawing on them. Then you're going to be needing a drawing tool. Today I'm going to be using markers. You could also use crayons or colored pencils, anything that works to color your paper. Third, you need a scissors. And fourth, which is also optional, is you can use tape just to help hold down the center of your bookmark. But we'll get started. I'll show you a few that I've already done, and I can show you how to make these. I've made a watermelon, I've made a pizza, I've made Mickey Mouse, and Winnie the Pooh. So actually what's really fun with this is you can create it your own, you can do whatever you want. I actually made this one because I had a book at home with Winnie the Pooh on it, so if you want to do characters, storybook characters that you have at home, that would be awesome, but whatever works. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how exactly to fold these sheets of paper, as it can be a little difficult. Also for it, size doesn't exactly matter, as it's depending on the book. So if you do have a smaller book, you might want to use smaller sheets of paper, but if you have a larger book, you could always use a bigger piece of paper. So I'm just going to first tear out this piece, and we'll start cutting. So this sheet of paper is basically just like average sized, and what I did to make all mine is I actually cut this into 6 separate pieces. So I cut once down the middle and 2 up the sides. So we will do that again. To get that even fold, I'm just gonna fold it in half and make a little cut where I need to cut. That way I know when I have to go back. Alright, so first we'll cut this in half. Alright, now we have our 2 halves, and what I'm going to do, as I said before, is I'm going to cut this into thirds. So I'm going to cut 2 lines. They also don't have to be that equal. We just want to have them around the same size. Another great thing about these bookmarks is as school is coming to an end, it is important to remember to be reading this summer. So having these bookmarks might be a fun way for you to get back into reading this summer. That way you can remember everything to do. But alright, the second thing to begin this project is to do the folding. So I will show you how I did it here. I'll bend this down a little bit. So what I did is I took the 2 top corners and you just kind of bend them to make a triangle. They don't have to be perfect. I overlap mine as I am going to be taping the center. But so you just fold them so they make a little triangle. And then what I did, which is completely optional, is I take a piece of tape, really small, and I'm just going to stick it right underneath our fold. That way it doesn't come apart. Let's see. Just like that. So now this fold in the center is not going to come apart. Another thing that's optional, as you can see on here, I cut it into a square. Right now it's kind of a house shape, but I cut mine into a square. It's totally up to you. I found them to fit my books a little bit easier if I cut them. So what I do is I just cut down that centerpiece, leaving this look. So from here, you can color whatever you want. Some great ideas are different types of food. As I showed you before, you can do watermelon. A great other one like this is you can do a lime or an orange. Anything that kind of can be cut into this triangle shape. So as you can already see this one, I will actually show you how to do an orange on this one. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple. For this one, obviously, I just took a pink and I colored in this entire area. Then I took green and I outlined that and then added in our seeds. So I will be showing you how to do an orange today. So first, what you're gonna wanna do is get your colors out. So I need to get my orange. And I'm gonna do 2 different colors of orange. So here's our first one. And we'll actually, let's see. I'm gonna see how this color looks on a piece of paper. Okay, and we'll actually use this kind of creamy color for our second color. So I'm gonna be using orange and cream to make our orange. So this also wasn't very straight. I'm just gonna clean that up, have it make a perfect square. But then we will get started. So first, for the orange, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be drawing the peel pieces first. So I'll show you. I'm going to turn my bookmark upside down so the flap is here, and I'm going to be drawing triangles that point inward. I'll show you what I mean here. Let's see if you can see this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go down the middle for our first one. Like that. Down the side for our second one. And just like that. We'll go right there for that one. But so once you have that all done, you can fill those spaces in. So as I said before, these little pieces were kind of distinguishing the individual pieces of our orange. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take that darker orange and go back around. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to make the outside peel of it. So I'm just going to go around in kind of a rainbow shape, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the rest of it in. And now I'm going to fill in between all these lines. You could leave it white, but I'm gonna color it in orange. Another great thing is if you're doing a lime or a lemon, it would be exactly the same design, just with those different colors. So for a lemon, you can use shades of yellow. For an lime, you can use shades of green. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just filling in everything here. One last little step. just like that. So I actually am going to show you how these will look on a book. And let's say we are about halfway through our book at home. What we want to do is then you want to take that bookmark and you just want to mark the very top corner. So here I'm going to take this and you just slide it right in there. And then you have this little orange peel as your bookmark. Then when you shut it, it's not coming out anywhere, but when you open it back up, you can see where you left off. So there is another option. Our fruit options, as I said before, just like that. I already showed you this one, but I also made a pizza one, which was super fun. And I'm gonna go back and I'll show you another version of this. So again, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take your sheet of paper and you're gonna wanna fold those corners down. Just like that, so they make a square on the top. Then what you're gonna do, well, it's optional, is take a little piece of tape again and stick it right on the inside so they stick down. What you do want to make sure you do is don't stick it down to the inside, as you want that space to be available, as that is where the corner of your book goes. All right. So next, for this pizza one, we are going to cut that triangle again, which is totally optional. I just like the look of it better, and it seemed to fit inside my books a little bit easier when it was smaller. So just creating that diamond shape. And then we need to find our colors for our pizza. So I'm going to be using orange, red, brown, and that's probably about it. If you want to add other things to your pizza, you definitely can. I'm going to be showing you a different type of pizza rather than this pepperoni. So I did pepperoni for my first one. You could also just do cheese and color it orange. I'm going to show you sausage, so we're going to do some brown on there. But to get started, we will color this in orange. So similar to how I did the orange peel, I'm going to start and kind of do this rainbow shape down here. That kind of leaves an edge for where your pizza is going to be. And then the first step with that is you're just going to want to color everything in. So what I also do is right underneath the flap, I color a little bit up there as it can be seen. So I don't want it to have white when I'm looking at it, but we'll just color all of this in. All right, now we have that bottom portion filled out. We are also going to color this entire top corner portion orange as well. We'll get a little bit down there as you see I missed a spot. But as you can see, our corner is entirely filled in orange, which makes up the cheese portion of our pizza. Then what I do next is I do a line at the top that makes our crust. So we'll go right above where that orange rainbow line is. and create a brown line. Then I'm going to fill in that white space. Another thing to add to our pizza is the sauce. So when you eat pizza, there's always that sauce line right by the crust. So what I do is I'm just going to draw kind of a squiggly line right underneath that brown on top of the orange. And I'm just going to fill that in as well. So as I showed you before, for this one, all I did was some circles and then I did some lines to kind of show some cheese on there. For this one, I'm going to be doing sausage instead of pepperonis. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of draw a squiggly line circle is the best way I would explain it. Kind of just looks like you splattered something on your paper, but these shapes don't have to be perfect. You just kind of want them to have that unique shape. Alright, so now we have all of our shapes for our sausage, and then you're going to fill them in. Fill in all these spaces. Again, for these ones that are at the top of the flap, we are going to push them a little bit underneath. Hi, Sydney. I'm glad you guys are watching. We'll continue to fill these in. All right, so now you have your sausage on your little bookmark. What I'm going to do, just like how I did on this one, is I'm going to draw in some red lines just to kind of put in some markings for cheese. So everywhere, I'm just going to kind of go in and put these little dashes everywhere you want. Just like that. So there is the second option for our pizzas. As you can see on this one, I used more of a yellow. On this one, I used more of an orange. But they both turned out like pizzas. Again, as I showed you before, I made a Mickey Mouse one. And I will actually show you how to do a Minnie Mouse one as well, which is going to be very similar. The only difference is that it is going to have a bow on the top. So we're going to take our sheet of paper again, and you want to fold down those top corners. So you're just going to fold them into a triangle. And for this one, you will need a little bit more paper as we cut and tape for the ears. But, so we have our triangle. And now I'm going to tape down that center piece. Stick it right down. And then we will cut our end. Just like that. So now once you have this shape, we can go in and add the ears. So for the colors for this guy, what I'll need is we'll need black. We'll see if I can find my black. You will also need pink, as we're going to be making Minnie Mouse. Pink and black. And I'm going to be using white, but I'm actually going to be using sheets of paper for that, so we don't have to worry about that right now. Alright. So now we have our shape. The first thing I'm going to do is for this flap part, we are going to be coloring it all black. But one thing you want to make sure of also is that you are not going to be drawing on this under half portion, as that is going to be pink. Alright, so I got as close to the end of our flap that I could, but I don't want to draw on that bottom portion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sheet of our practice paper. I'm actually just going to slide it right in there and then go on top and fill in all the black that I missed. And then with this piece of paper underneath, it just allows for that barrier. We'll get all the sides good. Alright, so now when we take this piece of paper out, as you can see, I didn't get any black on that bottom half. And then next for the bottom, we will do all pink. So just like before, I'm going to color up underneath that flap, as sometimes you can see it once you put it into your book. But I'm going to color this entire bottom pink. Just like that. And then we want to make our ears just like this one. So I'm going to take another sheet of paper. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to just be eyeballing a circle if you can't. Actually, I have this Elmer's glue here, which will make almost a perfect circle. You could do that as well. If you have anything of that size, but I'm just going to be hand drawing a circle, just guessing. So there's my circle. I'm going to fill this one in. But again, we folded our paper. That way, when we cut it, it will create two circles. So for now, our one is just going to be filled in. And then after we cut, we can fill in the next one. So I'm just going to cut right along my line. Now we have two. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the second circle. Make sure we fill it in all the way. Just like that. So now we have 2 circles. For this, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a piece of tape. I'm gonna line up where I want the ear. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tape it right down onto the back with 1 piece of tape. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other ear. Just a little piece of tape. I'm gonna kind of line up where I want the ear. I want it right there. Then I'm gonna go on the back and just use 1 piece of tape and tape it down. So the final thing for Minnie is we need her bow, which is also gonna be a more difficult part of this one, but I will show you guys how I'm gonna draw her bow. I'm gonna draw it on the paper first, and then I will cut it out, and then we can glue it down. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw an oval, just like that. And then from there, you wanna do 2 kind of half circles, just like this. I'm gonna face this towards me quick. And Minnie's bow does have circles, so I'm gonna go in and outline some circles on this. That way when I'm filling it in, I don't forget. All right, so this is the outline for our bow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in everything except for those circles. Don't have to worry too much about the lines on this one right now, as we are going to be cutting it out. All right, so now we have that all filled in. Last thing we're going to do is we're gonna cut this out right on that line. So you just wanna follow your black line all the way around. Almost done here. Another way to help you draw the bow portion is it kind of resembles a butterfly, if that makes it easier for you to remember how to draw it. Okay, but now we have it all cut out, and here's our bow. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our tape. I'm going to just roll mine up, just like that. We'll stick it on the back of our bow. And then you want to take your bookmark and put it wherever you want. I'm going to put it right next to her ear, just like that. And then it's done. So now we have our Mickey and our Minnie, as well as we have our pizzas. And we have our orange and our watermelon for our fruits. As I said before, I did make this Winnie the Pooh one very similar to how I made this one. You just need to cut out the ears, color them all in yellow, and then put in his face. But that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun creating these with you. Remember, as school is ending, reading in the summer is really important, and I hope you guys can have a little more fun and enjoy your summer and enjoy reading your books with these bookmarks. So, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.